Welcome to an incredible journey where the raw power of nature meets the thrill of the catch. Today, we'll witness towering waves crashing with unstoppable force, showcasing the untamed beauty of the ocean. Against this dramatic backdrop, skilled fishermen brave the elements, working together in a race against time to harvest thousands of kilograms of fish. It's a test of endurance, teamwork, and respect for the sea's bounty. As we follow these daring crews, we'll discover the challenges they face, the techniques they use, and the immense scale of a massive fishing operation. From the rush of adrenaline as nets are hauled in heavy with the day's catch, to the awe-inspiring sight of giant waves, this experience offers a glimpse into a world where adventure and hard work go hand in hand. Prepare to be amazed by the spectacle of giant waves and the impressive feat of mass fishing. In the early months of 2015, along the southern coast of India, in Tamil Nadu, a group of experienced fishermen gathered at dawn, their weathered faces etched with concern and determination. For generations, their families had relied on the bounty of the sea, casting nets close to the shore, returning home each evening with the day's catch. But now, the familiar rhythms of their lives had been disrupted. Fish stocks near the coastline had dwindled alarmingly. The once vibrant coral reefs that had provided sanctuary for countless marine species were bleaching and dying, a victim of warming waters and pollution. Every day, the nets came back lighter and the boats heavier with worry. It was in this climate of uncertainty that the decision was made they would venture farther than ever before, chasing rumors of abundant shoals in the deep sea far beyond the horizon. Their destination lay over 700 nautical miles from shore, a distance none had attempted before. The undertaking was perilous. The deep sea was a realm of unpredictable tempests, monstrous waves, and unseen dangers. Yet the promise of a bountiful catch, enough to sustain their families and their community, compelled them onward. The preparations were exhaustive. They loaded their sturdy wooden trawlers with provisions, rice, dried fish, onions, and fresh water, enough to last them a full month at sea. They serviced the engines, reinforced the hulls, and checked the radio equipment, knowing that a single mechanical failure so far from land could be fatal. As dawn broke, prayers were whispered, incense burned, and garlands tied to the bows for good fortune. With a final wave to their families, the fishermen set out, their boats becoming small dots against the vast expanse of the Bay of Bengal. The first days were deceptively calm. The sea shimmered, and dolphins rode the wake as the trawlers pressed northward. But as they crossed the continental shelf, the ocean changed. Swells grew in size, the color of the water darkened, and the wind bit colder. By the seventh day, they had reached the fabled fishing grounds, a place known among older fishers as the Mother's Lap for its supposed abundance. They dropped their nets, hearts pounding with hope. At first, the catch was modest. Tuna, mackerel, and snapper filled the holds, but not enough to justify the risk and expense. On the third night, at the grounds, as they prepared to haul in their nets, the wind began to howl. The sky, once studded with stars, vanished behind a wall of black clouds. The fishermen rushed to secure their lines, but the storm was upon them before they could finish. Lightning split the sky, illuminating waves as high as 3-story buildings. The boats were tossed like toys, the men clinging to ropes and railings, praying to the gods for mercy. For hours the tempest raged, waves crashed over the deckers, threatening to swamp the vessels. In the chaos, one of the trawlers has lost radio contact with the others, its engine sputtering dangerously. The men on board worked together, bailing water, coaxing the engine back to life, all the while keeping a wary eye on the horizon for the next towering swell. The highest waves reached up to 25 meters, mountains of water that blotted out the sky and made the fishermen feel impossibly small. When dawn finally broke, battered but alive, the men found themselves scattered but intact. The sea, calmed by the passing storm, now glistened in the early light. Incredibly, their nets, left drifting in the chaos, were still intact, though straining at the ropes with a tremendous weight. With trembling hands and aching muscles, they began the arduous task of hauling them in. What emerged astonished even the oldest among them. The nets bulged with fish, giant yellowfin tuna, glistening barracuda, schools of skipjack, and even a few rare silvery pomfrets. The catch was so heavy that it took the combined strength of every man to drag the nets over the gunnels. Hours passed as they worked, sweat mixing with seawater, hands raw and backs sore. When the last net was emptied, the hold was filled beyond capacity, over 1,000 kilograms of fish, the largest haul any of them had ever seen. The journey home was long and tense. The boats were sluggish under the weight of their bounty, and the men kept a wary eye on the sky, fearful of another sudden storm. Food and water ran low, and exhaustion pressed on every limb. But the promise of home and the knowledge of the catch below deck kept their spirits alive. After nearly a month at sea, the battered trawlers finally appeared on the horizon, greeted by jubilant families who had feared the worst. The entire village gathered on the beach to help unload the catch. Stories of the monstrous waves and the miraculous haul spread quickly, and the fishermen became local legends, their bravery and skill celebrated in songs and stories. But the journey left its mark. Some of the men bore scars, both physical and emotional, from their ordeal. They spoke in hushed tones of the power of the deep sea, of the way the waves had humbled them, and the ocean had both threatened and blessed them. The bounty brought prosperity to their community, but it also sparked debate about the future. Could such deep-sea expeditions be repeated? At what cost to their safety and the health of the ocean? In the years that followed, the memory of that journey became a touchstone for the village, a reminder of both the resilience and vulnerability of those who live by the sea. The fishermen continued to adapt, learning new techniques and navigating new regulations as the government sought to balance the need for livelihoods with the protection of marine resources. Some younger men, inspired by the tale, dreamed of venturing even farther, while others advocated for stewardship of the reefs and the waters closer to home. Through it all, the story of the 1,000-kilogram catch in the teeth of 25-meter waves endured, a testament to courage, cooperation, and the enduring bond between people and the sea. A bond shaped by both bounty and peril, hope and humility. After long and often perilous journeys across the open seas, Indian deep-sea fishermen returned to shore with their valuable catches, sometimes amounting to thousands of kilos of fish. This moment marks the beginning of a crucial process that sustains not only the fishermen and their families, but also entire coastal communities whose livelihoods depend on the bounty of the ocean. As the fishing boats approach the coastline, anticipation builds. Family members, local traders, and laborers gather at the landing centers and bustling harbors, such as the one in Visakhapatnam on India's northeastern coast. For many, this is a daily ritual, a vital link in the chain that moves seafood from ocean to table. The air's thick, with the scent of salt and fish, and the sounds of engines. Shouted greetings and squawking seabirds fill the docks. Once the fishermen reach the harbor, the unloading process begins. Teams of workers, often including relatives of the fishermen, haul crates and baskets overflowing with fish from the holds of the trawlers. These fish, meticulously packed in ice to preserve their freshness during the journey, are quickly sorted by species and size. Some of the highest value catches, such as prawns, tuna, mackerel, and pomfret, are separated immediately, destined for export markets or upmarket buyers. The next stage is the vibrant fish auction. Here, local traders, wholesalers, and agents for processing companies gather to bid on the catch. The auction is a lively affair, with voices rising in rapid-fire negotiation and hands flashing signals. Prices fluctuate based on the quality and quantity of the fish, the time of year, and the current demand. For the fishermen, securing a good price is essential. It determines their income for the trip and, by extension, the well-being of their families. Some of the catch is purchased by agents representing seafood processing companies. These companies specialize in preparing fish for export, cleaning, filleting, freezing, and packaging seafood to meet the stringent standards of international markets in Europe, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and beyond. Processing centers, often located near major ports, employ large numbers of local workers, many of whom are women. For these workers, the seafood industry provides a vital source of employment and empowerment. Meanwhile, a significant portion of the fish makes its way to local markets. In towns and villages along India's vast coastline, fish markets are central to daily life. Here, small-scale traders and vendors acquire fish to sell to households, restaurants, and street food stalls. The fish is often displayed on beds of crushed ice, gleaming in the early morning light. Shoppers haggle over prices, seeking the freshest catch for their families' meals. In some cases, the fishermen themselves, particularly those from smaller, independent operations, may sell directly to consumers or to neighborhood vendors. This direct sale allows them to capture a larger share of the profits, bypassing the layers of middlemen that often dominate the seafood supply chain. Beyond the immediate sale of fresh fish, there are other critical steps. Some fish, especially those that are not immediately sold, are preserved through traditional methods, such as drying, salting, or smoking. Dried fish is a staple in many Indian diets and is particularly important in regions where refrigeration is scarce. These preserved products are sold both locally and transported to inland markets, ensuring that the bounty of the sea reaches even those far from the coast. The revenue generated from selling their catch is essential for fishermen and their communities. It funds daily expenses, education for their children, maintenance of fishing boats and gear, and the cost of fuel, ice, and provisions for future expeditions. Fishing is not just a job, it is a way of life, woven into the cultural and economic fabric of coastal India. However, the process is not without its challenges. In recent years, fishermen have faced mounting difficulties due to overfishing, declining fish stocks, and increasing competition. Environmental issues, such as plastic pollution, add another layer of complexity. Fishermen often find their nets clogged with plastic debris, forcing them to spend valuable time cleaning equipment rather than catching fish. In response to these challenges, some coastal communities have adapted by diversifying their activities. Notably, There are efforts to collect and recycle plastic waste from the ocean. In certain regions, fishermen have partnered with the local organizations to gather plastic from their hauls and sell it for use in making products like road building materials. This provides a supplementary income and helps clean the marine environment, illustrating the resourcefulness and resilience of these communities. Recognizing the need for sustainable livelihoods, the Indian government and various organizations are promoting new initiatives. One major focus is the development of offshore aquaculture, raising fish, shellfish, and even pearl oysters in large floating cages or enclosures at sea. This approach can help reduce pressure on wild fish populations, provide more stable incomes, and create new job opportunities within the fishing sector. Despite the challenges, the journey from sea to sail is a testament to the hard work and determination of India's fishermen. Each step, from the moment the nets are cast to the final sale in the market, reflects a deep connection to the ocean and a commitment to supporting their families and communities. The fish that end up on dinner plates across India and around the world are more than just a product. They are the result of cooperation, tradition, and adaptation in the face of changing times. In the end, the fate of the fishermen and the future of India's fisheries depend on balancing economic survival with environmental stewardship. By embracing innovation, sustainable practices, and community-driven solutions, these coastal communities continue to navigate the challenges of the modern world, ensuring that the bounty of the sea remains a source of life and livelihood for generations to come.